Curtis Calhoun here with MMA News, and right now I'm joined by the champ, Bellator middleweight champion, Johnny Eblen, who's getting ready to return on February 4th, Bellator 290. How's it going, Johnny?
Great. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate the time once again. First things first, man. Obviously, I won't want to talk about your fight, but I want to get into, kind of the past year for you. Obviously, you don't want to reflect too much in the past, but getting the title, getting that recognition, nominated for numerous awards. I mean, what has this past year been like for you, and how much does it mean to you to get that recognition from your peers?
It's cool. Getting a little validation is always nice. Kind of expected as I kind of knew I was going to be a good fighter, and just the way I train, and the way I hone in on fight camps, and the way I perform, it's bound to happen. So kind of, becoming the champ, being nominated for stuff, it's just part of being a good fighter. The only thing is you can't let it blow up your head. You can't change too much. You can't, you can't change everything just because, oh, you're getting the recognition now. Oh, you're the champ, whatever. I'm going to continue to do the same thing, white belt mentality, and continue to get better each and every day.
I love it, man. And co-main event slot. Were you a little surprised that this wasn't made as a main event with Anatoly Tokov? Because I feel like, all respect to Ryan Bader and Fedor, but I feel like in a lot of ways on paper, arguably, this is a more intriguing matchup, and a lot of fans are looking forward to this one.
Yeah, it's probably more of a intriguing matchup, but I mean, Fedor's a legend of the sport, so you got to kind of put him as the poster boy for this fight. And I'm honored to be on the same card. I don't mind being co-main. I don't mind being. I would have been awesome to be the main card or the main event, but it is what it is. I really don't care. I'm just happy I'm employed and I'm fighting early this year. Yeah, man, I just like being active and fighting, and Bellator's giving me an opportunity, and I'm ready to step up and fucking put it on this guy.
No doubt about it, man. And obviously a lot of top level fighters down there at American Top Team. You have Dustin Poirier and others you've worked with for a lot of time. Since you earned the belt, have you kind of talked with those guys for advice on how to handle fame and recognition and all that? Or are you just kind of taking it one day at a time?
Just taking it one day at a time. Honestly, no one really knows who I am, so I'm kind of low key, and I'm actually, I like it. I'm not getting bombarded. I've been around George a lot. I've been around DP. I've been around, a lot of big names in the sport, and kind of being anonymous is nice. Not having people walk up to you all the time or want to take your photo, blah blah blah. It can get exhausting, So, I kind of see how they handle it just from like being around them. So I can kind of pick up cues of like, okay, this is how I'm going to handle it, or, so have you, whatever. Just through experience from being around those guys, I think I'm going to learn. So, yeah, I'm just kind of embracing the anonymity. Would that be the right word? Yeah. Being unknown, and it's kind of nice, and I'm embracing it.
No doubt about it, man. And Anatoly Tokov, obviously, this is a guy. Remember last time we talked, this was a guy that was on your radars, your first title defense potentially, and now it's here, man. What have you made of his last few performances? And he's got a little bit of a tricky style, right? Well-rounded combat sambo background. What have you made of his last few performances?
I mean, he's won all three. So the last three, what was the? Actually, I've only watched his last two. One was in Russia. That was actually somewhat of a close fight. That was a good fight. The guy who was fighting was pretty well-rounded as well. And then his last guy, he just ran through. So not much about that one. But, I mean, his style's not too tricky to me, particularly. It's pretty old school, like boxing, wrestling, sambo, type fighting. Nothing crazy. Doesn't do anything too crazy. He does hit hard. He's a strong dude. But yeah, I think my style matches up really, really well with him, and I think I'm going to overwhelm him in a lot of areas.
Another big fight coming up in your division pretty soon is Gegard Mousasi and Fabian Edwards at Bellator Paris. How do you see that fight playing out, and who do you have having the edge in that one?
Man, I don't really know. It's a tough one. I could see Gegard winning because he has way more experience, and it's going to be mostly a striking battle, and that's what he likes. Edwards is the younger, probably hungrier guy. Probably hits a bit harder. Has some good elbows, but we'll see. Gegard's hard to hit, and a lot of the reasons I was able to hit Gegard is because my striking style and and the way I mix my wrestling with my striking. So we'll see. When it comes to a straight up like kickboxing match, if that's what they choose to do, I could see Gegard pulling off a win.
Yeah, I was about to say, because one thing that really stands out about Gegard's style is he has that nice balance of countering and pressuring, right? So I feel like
Yeah.
that could give a lot of the top middleweights problems. Do you feel like with Fabian Edwards' style that's definitely something he's probably going to have to watch for?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I feel like I feel like he just has more experience, like striking like that, especially in fights. Not to take anything away from Fabian Edwards, I think he's really good, but yeah, man, he's going up against a vet and playing his game, in my opinion.
I got to get your prediction as well on Ryan Bader, excuse me, and Fedor. How do you see that fight playing out? What's your prediction?
I got to go Team USA, so Ryan Bader. Yeah.
Awesome, man. And I got to ask you, man, obviously we had a recent Bellator RIZIN cross promotional event. Obviously it was a massive success, got a lot of attention around the world. Would that interest you in terms of ever being a part of one of those cross promotional events?
Yeah, of course. Any opportunity to fight anybody, especially cross promotional, I am down. I'm down to fight all the time. That's why I stay ready. Wish I could have partook in the one in December, but or no. Oh yeah, December. It was New Year's Eve actually, right?
Mhm.
Wish I could have partook in it, but the chips didn't fall in my favor, so it is what it is. Hopefully, in the future.
Absolutely, man. And obviously, the UFC isn't in the business of cross promotion at the moment. But I got to ask you, man. Obviously, I know you're confident in your chances against a guy like Alex Pereira. But how do you see that fight playing out if it were to ever come to fruition? What would fans see in that fight?
Me and Pereira.
Mhm.
Uh, Me overwhelming him with my style, my pressure, my wrestling. I'd out wrestle him for sure. Probably submit him, and he wouldn't know how to get up. Like he wouldn't be able to get away from me. So obviously, I'm not going to try to strike with him completely. He's a kickboxer. I mean, one of the best kickboxers in the world, if not the best. So, I would definitely have to use my advantage in the wrestling, and I totally would. And I think that would lopside, the fight in my favor.
Were you surprised at all with how his fight with Adesanya went at 281?
Actually, I'm not because I knew that he could win by knockout. I knew he could win by a finish. That's the only way he could win. I knew Izzy was going to outpoint him, and Izzy was winning. Izzy almost finished him in the second or third? I can't remember
Second,
exactly.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I was like, man, he's still coming forward. He's still coming for that kill shot. He's like, he could finish him, but I was like, I think Izzy has this in the bag, and then boom. I was like, okay, well, I'm not surprised. Like, see, that's why being more well rounded because Izzy couldn't really take him down.
Mm-hmm.
Like he could, but it was kind of like not great. Like his wrestling base isn't great.
Mm-hmm.
You get a guy that has a little bit better wrestling, maybe striking not as good, cancels that dude out completely, because it looked like in the fifth Izzy was kind of just running from him
Mm-hmm.
and letting Pereira go forward, and that's when Pereira's best. So I think that was a mistake on his part. He should have probably pressured him a bit and probably stayed in his face, make Alex back up, and then if his wrestling was good enough, take him down and really nullify everything. So yeah, man, styles makes fights, and I think I have a great style to take out a guy like Alex Pereira.
I was about to ask you, because do you feel like a guy like Robert Whitaker or even Hamza Chimaev that has that strong wrestling base could give Pereira obviously a lot of problems?
Yeah, Chimaev and Whitaker, I think so.
I got you, man. Well, hey, last question for me, man. Bellator 290, February 4th. What are we going to be writing about? What's the headline going to read after your fight?
Johnny defends his middleweight title in dominating fashion. Look out for him later this year.
I love it, man. Well, hey, before we wrap things up here, I'll give you the floor to shout out any sponsors you have, shout out your team, all that good stuff. I'll give you the final word, man.
Shout out ATT, all my sponsors. You guys know who you are. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for the support. Thanks to all my fans. Just follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Johnny Eblen.
Awesome, man. Well, Johnny, I really do appreciate the time. All the best with these final days of camp. And it's always good to pick your brain. I'm sure we'll chat again soon, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.